Hello everybody, welcome to Tim's lovely little kitchen. Today, I want to show you and all of my students how to preserve food. Some ways are easy, some ways are hard. So let's take a look. I just got back from the store. I bought some lovely apples. Let's see if you can't get a look in there. Lovely apples, as you can see too. I also bought some meat. Different kinds. I've got pork here, and I bought some beef as well right here. Now, the meats are very easy to preserve. I'll show you what we can do real quick with those. The apples, we're gonna make a nice jam with it. An apple jam. As I said before, we have our meats here. Porks, two kinds, and our beef. Now the porks are very simple. The pork already came in a container that is sealed. So this pork is fine. I don't need to do anything to it. This pork is also closed in a bag with barely any air. That one's ready to go as well. When we freeze or cool it, we need to make sure we cover it or hide it from the air. Make sure that no extra air can get to it. As you can see, my steak came differently. I had to rinse my steak with water and then put it in a separate container. It's quite easy. You just cover the container, cover it with a lid, and then it goes right into the freezer to preserve. As you can see, my wife already did some. I got some steaks and some pork. And also we have a little bit of ginger in here. We freeze our ginger and take it out when we need it. Here we go. We'll go right into the freezer. Boom. Easy. We are freezing our food to preserve it. Boom. Voila. Just like that. Alright, now on to the next part. We already preserved our meat in the freezer. Let's look at our apples here. We're gonna get started on our apple jam. Now, I've already rinsed 2 apples and checked them, so we're good. Now let's do one together. The last apple, if you notice, there's a tag on it. There's a sticker. We need to make sure we take off the sticker. Boom. We can come over here. Follow me, please. Now here we are at the sink. I brought my apple. As you can see, I took the tag off the apple. I need to rinse the apple with cold water. Make sure it's cold. Run it down. Give it a little rub with your thumb. Get some of that off there. Anything dirt or anything, we can get it off with our thumb mostly. And that's all it takes. Give it a little shake. Get some excess water off. And then we go back to our plate. Now the next step of the process, as you can see here, I already peeled and cut into small pieces some apples. So we're going to take one apple to show you. I need to peel it and cut it. So first I like to take off the stem, twist it until it comes out. That is the stem, if you didn't know. Put it right there, we don't need it. Now I need to peel it. I have a peeler. You can also use a knife, but be careful. They are very sharp. They can cut you very easy. All right, so let's get started here. We're gonna start peeling the apple. Get it going down. I need to get it started. It's easier once you start it. All right, here we go. Yeah, make sure you get some nice peel going. Don't worry about the top or the bottom too much. We can use a knife to clean it after we cut it. So make sure we get most of this off. Just like this. You can see most of the red is gone. Maybe clean it up a little bit like that. It's okay. Clean it up. Yeah. Be very careful. You don't want to cut yourself. A little brown spot. It's okay. Just peel it out. Yeah, get the bottom. There we go. Almost done. Bear with me, please. Okay. Now the peeling is done. I have peeled an apple. As you can see, we also call this a peel. And now we're on to the cutting part. We just peeled. Now we need to cut. As you see, I already cut my apple in half, which is good. It's easy. Be careful though. The knife is very sharp. Now, before we finish it, we need to clean the skin off. So we need to cut a little triangle into the apple to help get the skin off the apple like that. Boom. Finish getting it off. Other part of it, the bottom. Right. Pop that right off. That's okay. You can see the core here. We'll wait to do the core in a second. We're gonna cut it in half again. So now we have quarters. Quarters means 4, 1/4. 1/4, I love it. So now we can cut this core out nice and easy. Get in there, a little triangle, and pop the core out. Boom. The core's out. Let's do it again. 4 pieces, do a little cut, a little deeper there. Yeah, pop the core out. Boom. Core is gone. Goodbye. Can be a core. Finish it up. Make sure we get all the core out of all the apples. Get it out. Last core. Goodbye, core. A little harder. Oh, I see I broke my apple. That's okay. Continue with the cutting. So we want to try to cut this into small pieces. Remember, keep your fingers away from the knife. So you want to curl your fingers a little bit. Okay. Give yourself some slices. cutting some slices in the apple. Try to keep it together if you can. Slices. You can also say, I'm slicing the apple. That looks good. Put it back together. This will help us to cut it into smaller pieces. So I'm going to do one more cut down the middle. And here, wrap my fingers around. Be very careful. Now I have strips of apple, but I want cubes. So now we're going to make cubes with the apples. There we go. One more cut. Boom. Now we have cubes of apples. We can do it one more time to show you. So first we cut slices, small. Keep your fingers away. I like to do a downward, forward motion with my knife. That looks good. Keep it together. Boom. One more long cut down all of the apples. Right there. Boom. And now we have it set up to make some small cubes. You can go as small as you like. The smaller, the better. It may speed up the cooking process because the jam does require you to cook. There we go. You put it into the bowl. Now we're continue on with our apple jam. The next step requires us to start cooking. We literally just prepared our apples. We cut them, we peeled them, we're set to go. The next part, we need a pan. A saucepan is good. This is what we call a saucepan. We need a lid, or sometimes we just say cover or a top. Lid is fine. We need to cover it while it cooks. We also need a little bit of water. This helps with the cooking. So I do have my apples as well, all cut up and diced nicely. So put the pan on the stove top. As you can see, I have my black stove top here. Right there, I put it on the stove top. I got my lid ready. We'll put our water in. Now, the key to remember when we do this, you put your water in. You want to make sure you have just enough water. Look in here. Just enough water to cover the bottom of the pan. You see, there's barely any. You don't need a lot of water. You put the water in, add your diced apples. Let's see, we'll make sure you get them all in there. Boom. A little mess, I'll clean it later. A little swish. Let's go ahead and start this up. You don't need it too hot. You don't want to burn the apples, but you do need to boil the water a little bit. You know, we can give a little mix around. Just a little mix. Help the apples get down there. Okay. And now we wait. We cover it. And we wait. When it is finished, we will know it has to be soft. When the apples are soft, we are done with this part of the jam. Okay, so now you can see it is boiling inside. You can see the water boiling. Yeah, so now we want to, this has been about 5 minutes. It has been 5 minutes. We want to check it. Stir it and check it to see if it's soft. We want the apples to be soft. And also to remember, we need to turn it down a little bit, maybe to 500 or 800. We don't want it to burn. Make sure it's stirred. Like that. Okay, now we have been waiting for about 15 minutes. We checked it, we stirred the apples. I prepared the sugar, we're ready. I like to do about half the sugar for the amount of apples. Too much sugar is too sweet, all right? So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, it's very hot. Be careful, very hot. Don't touch things if they're hot. Mine is good. You see a little browning. If it's browning, this is okay. A little browning is okay. We'll turn the heat off. As you can see, it should be nice and soft. Yeah, it should be soft. Good. Now, once we get to this point, we want to make sure we don't burn it. Keep stirring it a little bit. The next part is to use something to smush it. Make it into like a water or a paste, like a toothpaste. Now, I don't have a masher, as we call it, but I use a cup. The bottom of a cup is hard and flat. It works for me. You can also use a blender to do it, and as you can see, I am just trying to turn the soft apples into paste. Like an apple paste. This may take a few minutes, but you want to make a good paste, thick paste out of it. So we're going to keep mashing here. Yeah. Make sure to get rid of some of the big chunks, and we're going to be golden. It's not the funnest part in the world. It's a lot easier with a blender. If you have a blender, it's way easier. You stick the apples in a blender, and you push start. And as you see, it's getting thicker, almost like a toothpaste. It's getting thicker as we do it. Now, I have to keep doing this for a few minutes. Come back when I'm done. Now, as you can see, I moved the apples from the pan into the bowl to help me mush it. And as you can see, we got like a paste here, like toothpaste. It's very mushy, There's still some chunks, but I like chunks in mine. There's still pieces of apple. I like this with my jam. So we can continue mess with it a little bit, squish it around, make it almost like a paste or into waters, okay? If you use a blender, it will be like water, which is okay too. So mush, 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 mush. And now we're gonna move it back into a pan. I'm going to use a smaller pan for this part. It's still a saucepan. Look at that. Make sure you cover the bottom of the pan just like this. Boom, boom. Yeah, and now you're gonna take your sugar. You want about half the sugar to the apples. So we're gonna just go ahead and pour the sugar in, kind of all over the place. That looks about good. Turn the heat on. Now in this step, we need to stir it a lot. Stir it frequently, many, many times. You don't want the sugar to burn. So you're gonna stir it, make sure it stays mashed. Yeah, and we need it to be high heat. So we kind of want it to be hot. It needs to boil. Okay, it needs to boil. This is the critical part. You can see it's already getting hot here. The sugar is. So mix, mix, mix. Mix it very well. Yeah, make sure you get the bottom, the sides. All right, now as you can see, it has become a little bit more clear. I think it's done. I'm gonna stop it and I'm going to kind of keep it from burning at the bottom. Continue to stir a little bit. As you see, I'm gonna try just a touch. So be careful, it's very hot. I wanna try some. It should be a little sweet. Jams can be sweet, and jams cannot be sweet, but I like it a little sweet, it's okay. That's very good. I did a good job. There it is. Now, we have just finished boiling the apples and the sugar together, and we were stirring a lot, okay? Remember, frequently stir a lot. As much as you can for 10 minutes about. How do we know when it's finished? That's the key here. Well, with a liquid, we talk about the viscosity. The viscosity of a liquid, it means how thick is the liquid. Is it like water where the water pours off the spoon? Whoosh, or is it thick like this? So as you can see, it should be able to stick to the spoon with barely falling off unless you shake it. That would be a good viscosity for your jam. Very good. Now normally with jam, I like to store it in a jam container or just a glass jar. You know, we can put it right in there. As you can see, I'm using a strawberry jam container for my apple jam. So let's get it all in there. So we're gonna put it in there, fill the bottom. Do as fast as I can for you guys, as fast as I can. Now I use just a small amount of jam on my bread and stuff normally, but you can put it on pancakes, you can put it on anything that has wheat or bread or flour for that matter. It goes good in pastries and cakes. Jam has many, many purposes. We can eat it for breakfast. That's very good. So now that I put it into the jar, the glass jar, we're just about finished. All we need to do is let it cool for a few minutes. We don't want it too hot in the glass. Cover it, just like that. Don't open it, and then you can put it in the fridge. Now let's remember, when you have a regular apple, before you do anything to it and you leave it out, just laying out, can only last for a few days. If you put apples in the fridge, they can last for up to 2 to 3 weeks. But our jam will last about maybe 4 to 5 weeks, which is 2 weeks longer than an apple about. All right, and there we have it. We have our jam. Our jam is already put in glass. We're good to go. For my students that are watching, please remember, you need to make your own video, okay? Kind of like what I did. Remember, we have 7 different methods. We can do the freezing, we could do the salting, we can do the jamming, you know, you could do smoking, you could also do salting, vacuuming, pickling is another one, and drying. Now it's your choice. Make sure you make a video though, and do your best. Be careful. This has been Tim's lovely little kitchen video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go try your own jam. Bye-bye.